Good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's probably not going to be a very long stream tonight. We're leaving an International Game Week behind, which has been, we had a few things up and running. It was really all right at the end, and we'll come to that as we get to it. And setting up the next game week. Now, the next game week, there's plenty more matches for me to be pulling cards from. I do have some selection dilemmas, and again, we'll kind of go through that as we do. Also made a little purchase today with the new club onboarding, Argentinos Juniors. We'll have a wee chat about that, and anything in the live chat in this stream, guys, drop it in there, and we'll kind of knock some stuff about and chat it out. And for as long as we're here, we'll try and make it as entertaining and as informative as we possibly can. The Sorare Procast episode 10 went live earlier today, along with Sorare Collection Building episode 3. Two amazing guests, Chrissy Quirk on the podcast and Trippin' B on the video with me. Recorded a bunch of stuff on Monday and did the stream, obviously, and then Tuesday, Wednesday I was just feeling really crap, so apologies for the delays. All that stuff's out there. You can go and check it out at your leisure. I hope you enjoy it, and any feedback is always welcome. So fist bumps: PK Random, Mikey Baston, Misaki, Hey Mai, and Toby Hope. Boom, good to see yous. Shinsuke Nakamura? Nope, it wasn't Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know what that means. There's probably a reference there I'm not getting. But yeah, two things. I feel like the last couple of streams I've done have been a wee bit brighter, but I think that's what's cool. So guys, how's your game week been? Have you had international headaches? Have you had any surprise appearances? Any surprise letdowns? It's always a good topic as well. Drop that in the live chat. And yeah, have you bought a Maradona card? This is what I'm sitting on at the moment. So the main priority for this game week, because it was just so bare, and I had a few things that I thought were to a level quite certain, was attack D4, and then just throw some other might play guys around everywhere we could. So Captain Leroy has delivered 100, so he has absolutely kicked ass for me this game week. Guardiol is quickly becoming a club legend. I bought him and Angelino to replace Van Dijk. I probably could have just bought Josko Gvardiol, to be honest with you. All Blacks doing okay despite no clean sheet. Zelarayan was stinking, and Solare's not even got off the bench yet. Hopefully, as long as he can come on for a minute, I'll be happy with that. We're safely in the tier 3 territory at the moment. I think there's about 90% played. Yep, 90%. So if we can get a bit more comfortable in that tier 3 bracket, I'll feel better about myself. I'm not really hoping for tier 2. Everything's locked in now, really. Maybe Guardiola can get another couple of points or something, I don't know. All Black, I don't think he's going to change much from where he's at either. So it is really just Carlos Soler. If he was able to get on and somehow done something, been absolute jackpot, maybe swoop us right up into tier 2 turf, But just want to be comfortable with a tier 3, be absolutely a legend in National Game Week, because I really didn't expect to pull anything. I was just hopeful to get that ETH in. For All-Star Division 3, I just went with all the Japanese lads in here, and I know the goalkeeper's Korean. He scored really well, and his multiplier is fantastic. And the rest of this just flopped right on its face. There was no super rares, so I just kind of knew if I'm just kind of banking on these guys all kicking Vietnam's ass, and it didn't happen. So, but your main starting was interesting, and maybe that continues. That's something for me to pay attention to. All-Star D5, this is the first time I'm looking at it. It's not done anything. And under 23 Division 2, I've got two guys coming off the bench. And Ronald Hernandez has started, I believe. I got the notification saying that. I've mentioned this before, right? But sometimes, I don't know if it's just me, but the Sofa Score notifications sometimes will come up saying starting 11, like immediately as soon as they get the team sheet and they register that everyone is on the team sheet somewhere, rather than it actually being the starting 11 notification itself. So that's kind of thrown me off once or twice, which is annoying. So Ronald Hernandez may not be starting, but I believe he is at this moment in time. So yeah, not much going on, but we managed to kick ass and take some names. Got top 50 as it stands in now. Still in our 10% to run, and that will be the South American teams overnight. And yeah, quite content with this, to be honest. So rolling into this game week, you will see there's a lot more games on. I was having a wee look at a wee defender there. You'll see why when I show you who I've picked up today. And when I look at the matches, the first thing I did, guys, this game week, and I hope you all do the same, is just go to all matches, because the My Matches thing, it might not be dead on, right? If you've got any Brazilian or Uruguayan, I think this is. I don't think you will, but if you have any of those guys, and of course you can tell who's playing very easily. But at national team level, I would really be cross-referencing as much information as you possibly can, double checking some of these obscure nations. If you have some guys with obscure nationalities, are they in the squad, even though they might be playing, or they've never played before potentially, because you just never know in this current stage. And sometimes just a lack of information can be a massive, massive handicap, you know. Sorare have done pretty well, I think, by now. Like, I've finally got the Netherlands guys registered as like being having a match and whatever. There was a wee delay between some of them, but I think they've caught most of them now. So I don't think there'll be many left unknown, but there definitely will be some. So I recommend you have just a cross reference, a double check, you know, just to do your best. We've got all of Europe in action really. CONCACAF region's full. Sorry, I'm just double checking I didn't miss a wee region there. So we've got pretty much every European nation after those two South American domestic leagues, and then we've got CONCACAF. We've got all the big teams that you're going to have a card for: USA, Mexico, Canada, Costa Rica in particular. I know there's some Jamaicans that have got some decent cards knocking about as well. And then Argentina, Uruguay looks to be on the 12th. So that's right in the middle of the game week. I was going to say right at the end, but strikes back bang in the middle. So a little bit of South American national team, but primarily European nations. So the super rare pool, you know, the all-star looks kind of appealing, I suppose, when I look at the podium versus the entrant count, but when you see the cards, there is only 6. Champion America has 8 because it's also got clubs running and that kind of thing, which increases the amount of cards that are playing, etc, etc. So I wouldn't be too confident I could really pull that off, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be putting stuff over there deliberately. The special weekly there's only 4 cards here. Wow, 2 rares and 2 supers. I'm not too interested in that either. So I think again my priority is going to be, do you know, I think, yeah, I've registered for D4s and stuff like that. I think where I've not got many goalkeeper options. I'm going to delete these teams and pick them again with a clear mind, but I don't have many goalkeeper options. I don't think I have any U23. So I think I'm rolling the dice on some of them, but I say I'm going to reset them. I'm not going to go on Sorare data for this because it is just going to be a short stream, and I'm just going to keep it on Sorare itself. I've got some fist bumps to catch up with, I think, from the live chat. Thanks to everyone who's joining us live. If you're joining us after we've been live, thanks to you too. Gaza, PK Random, fist bumps are coming back. Amin, Gaza, I think I said you already. Paulo, Daniel Irshwood, Gaza's back for more fist bumps. Stefan, good to see you. Moldy, Roll, Matty boy, love it. Great turnout, guys. How's your international break been? Has it been full of heartache, or are you like me and jamming out on a card? Hopefully, let me know. This game week coming, do you have big aspirations? Do you have a lot you can get out? How are you feeling with regions? Are you thinking about just going global, or are you going to attack a region? Because there will be much, you know, I will be the majority mindset here in terms of thinking just go for the strongest team in All-Star Rare, and then work around it from there, basically. And I think Oblak would have to be my #1 goalkeeper in this situation. Matt Turner doesn't sound... Oh, I think actually Berhalter confirmed earlier today that Zach Steffen is the goalkeeper, so I cannot rely on Matt Turner, unfortunately. In defence, who would my best defender be? So I'm just going to click on used and no game just to make double sure. Actually, what I'll do first is I'll pick from just used, and then I'll add the no game filter as a cross reference at the end. That's what I'll do. So Theo Hernandez, I don't know if he'll start at home at Kazakhstan. I would think he would. His form's been kind of in and out because of Russian double DNP for Demi Gamer. Oh, that's a sore one. Russia as well, we're going really good for. I think Joshie Forth was sitting top at one point. I don't know if he's hung on, or I know he was waiting for a sub that never came on. I don't know if that's totally just wrote off the game week, or if it just means first is in jeopardy. But fingers crossed for the guys that backed the Russians, because it seems to be there was some guys that did hit scores. I think Andy Robertson, Miles Robinson, and Josko Gvardiol all make great cases, as did Jack Hendry, ahead of Theo Hernandez to be in my first choice team. I think I'm going to go with Andy Robertson just because, you know, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Scotland away to Moldova. In midfield, especially after Zelarayan being stinking tonight at home to Germany, I'm not expecting it to be any better. I think Wes McKennie is most likely going to be the best performing USMNT centre mid. I've got the pick of the litter. I've got Yunus Musa, I've got Tyler Adams, I've got Brendan Aronson and Weston McKennie, so I could pick any one of them. I think all 4 will feature. I think Tyler Adams and McKennie will start. I think Brendan Aronson will start. and then it's just about what you think their in-game contribution will be. And I think McKennie's just a wee bit more box to box and can maybe get a decisive, so I would probably opt for him. I think Memphis Depay is a killer and just goes into every team automatically. And Sané, oh Jesus man, this is a killer of a team. Is Sané going to be my spare man? I think he is, by the way. This team is just going to be an absolute killer. This is definitely not the team I picked first time around, I can promise you that. We'll captain Depay, and hopefully Sané starts again after his 100 score he's bagged tonight, and he's been rested. I would hope that Hansi Flick just starts him again, because he seemed to be pretty ruthless at Bayern, and hopefully he's just as ruthless as the Germany manager. But I'm now going to click on that no game filter and just check against anyone who maybe incorrectly hasn't shown up. Now, Max Arnold has a game. He's in the national team. He's appeared tonight. So that's interesting for me to note and remember for maybe any other teams I'm going to use later on as a wee bit of a punt or a gamble or whatever. I've got a common Ronaldo. If that's usable in the special weekly, maybe use that. His average is probably a bit high, but if it's an average-based special weekly, Denier's probably going to start on for probably about what is that L5 is. I would very much expect that at home to Estonia. And I say all my American guys expect him to do well. See, I was getting this on my phone and I thought it was a phone problem. They've obviously updated the UI for the colour. So as you see, as you go through the divisions, it's red, blue, and gold kind of thing. But when I was scrolling down too far, I was getting the little ball refresh sign, and then it was kicking me right back to the top. I just heard some of my deco there. This is really creepy. It's like I could hear myself talking back there as I've had feedback. So weird. The reason I said it like that, I don't know if you'll think that's weird, right? But right before turning on the record button, this is going to sound mental, right? But there was a sound behind the wall there, like as if there was a chimney. There's not a chimney, but that kind of something like a wee pebble or end of a stick fell down. That kind of noise. So that's why I said that weird. Carlos Soler, if he's not played tonight, maybe they're keeping him for the harder match because I know the opposition. I know they're battering the team. Sorloff has came up as well. We've got him. I don't think I'd even seen him. I've seen after I've seen Depay and Sané, so I'm not really worried that he's not shown up. So I got Jack Hendry. And then see we lose the ball thing again, so that's it must be, hopefully it's not my browser. Let me know if that's happened to you guys as well. South Koreans in Slovakia killed my hopes, says Haggis Light. 2 DNPs and it's game over. No team for the next game week. Ouch. Always a good shout for this side. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because Yunus Musa is very much more boxed. He's the most attacking of all of them, but I think McKennie's nailed on to start, and he has that box to box element in him. Yeah, I get sofa score notifications. Yeah, brilliant, Mikey. Glad it's not just me. But I think that's a killer of a team. The ETH should not even be in question, which is my starting point for this game week. And this is a team that could do special figures. It's lovely to look at as well. I like to think it's a very FC Barcelona team. Double striker, solid midfield and defender with high multipliers, and the mega reliable All Black as ever. Captain Depay's in his contract. You know that already. Don't need me to tell you that. All-Star Pro. Now, I think I throw Turner in the off chance that he gets some minutes. I don't think I've got anyone else who would possibly be playing. Maybe Kevin Trapp. I was thinking about him as a punt because there's no reason why Germany don't give the other goalkeeper a shot. Maybe they do. So I think I will pick Trapp as my punt goalkeeper for D3. As we just got a notification that the Croatia game's finished. Now, do I have any super rare defenders that have a match that may be worth playing? Right, nobody's shown up here, so I'm going to hit the no game filter and see if there's any other. And I'm going to use Hendo's hack from the last stream, if you missed that. So we're just going to type in super. Brilliant. So I've got Matarita, who I think is the first choice left back for Costa Rica, away to Canada, which, Canada are very much expected to batter them. Sam Vines, will he play? Is he even in the squad, actually? Guys, somebody help me out here. Is Sam Vines in the is he in the squad? No, they fancy Anthony Robinson to start. Anthony Robinson. So I think no, I'm not even going to contemplate that. I'm going to go with Matarita. I think he's much more nailed on to start. And yeah, I'm all I love that. Now Leggett very well could feature from the bench or something, but I don't think I think this game week I would be happy just to run with one super rare in this team in the off chance. Because I think like Brendan Aronson, for example, could get decisive, but if Mexico are kicking lumps out of them, I'm worried that maybe he just doesn't get influence from the ball and he does score like a 40. Maybe Adams hits a triple. It could be one of those games, and he's connecting passes. He's dynamic. He's one of the key guys in the team. And You know, so that's my kind of toss up between those two. But I think I'm going to go for Aronson because he will be playing in the front three most likely. Up top, I'm going to hit the no game because I know Germany are playing, so I know Nemeka will be knocking about. Maybe somebody else will as well. Darwin, Uruguay do have Argentina, but I don't think Darwin would start against Argentina. I think they'd probably go Suarez Cavani. From a distance anyway, that'd be my opinion. I think Norway will start Sorloth and Haaland. I think that's what they want to do in an ideal world. I don't think it's always been possible, right enough. Haaland's actually injured, never mind. So Sorloth will start at home in Latvia. That could be very good. Sorloth could boss that game. Dries Mertens in Estonia. Is Mertens in the Belgium squad? This could be good. That's the sort of game Mertens would feature in. And, you know, Estonia, Belgium should be an absolute walkover. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to go check Belgium squad. If any of you guys know if Mertens is in the squad, please let me know. Save me doing this, but I'm going to search it with you anyway. Belgium squad latest. I've definitely seen it. I don't remember actually thinking about Mertens when I looked at it. But the thing with the Belgian team, it always comes out, it's always in like funny brackets. So I'm just going to go to Red Devils. Sorry, guys. Notifications are coming in. Oh my guys. Oh, Renato played. If Portugal, yeah, Portugal have a match. So Renato played as well. This is actually making me think maybe oh, there we go. They've tweeted out 4 hours ago. Good to have you back with us, Dries. Yeah, so Mertens in Estonia feels like a good fixture to be picking up. But I'm now thinking, who do Portugal have? Because maybe Renato Sanchez is a good shout. Let me check the Portugal team from tonight. Europe. World Cup. Portugal did play tonight, didn't they? Yeah, they did. Red card. Who was the red card? Pepe. So that's a centre back. It's not really going to influence. They started Matheus Nunes. That's Matheus Nunes, yeah. The guy I won. I sold him. Palfinha and Bruno Fernandes. That's away to Ireland. So they'll try to be a bit more creative against a team they're expecting to sit in. They still drew 0-0. And then fixtures at Serbia. So it's a tough game. They probably want... Would they want... I think Dries Mertens is getting less question marks. I think he's more likely to feature at some point. He could come off the bench and get a goal against Estonia. So I'm happy to back that. So I've still got Denier. I've still got Gvardiol. It's just Russia's a wee bit of a tougher game. Wow, he banged in an 80. Fantastic. Josko, man. What a guy. What a guy. A U23 Van Dijk replacement. What a guy. What a guy. Okay, Max Arnold. Maybe he starts. That's a bit gambly. Sorry guys, I'm going to turn my phone on silent. I don't normally get that many notifications when I'm streaming, sorry. Or maybe I always have it on silent, I forget. Jack Hendry, I think, does start. Vlasic, I suppose, he came off the bench tonight. Surely Vlasic would be a great candidate if you're the Croatia manager to play against the Russians, because he's done that very successfully for about 2 or 3 seasons. And then we come back to Adams. Weah, I suppose, will start. You know, it's just then you're back and they get decisive. I know I've got Ugbo available. And I know his shows is available, but he's not actually coming up in this list, which makes me think that no filter thing is definitely still a wee bit busted up and not working correctly. I think Miles Robinson starts, and I think, you know, depends. Against Raul Jimenez, don't know how he's going to fare, so I think that's a wee bit of a gamble for me. It's such a tough decision for this final spot, because I think this outfield is fine, and it might be super jammy, depending on what the prizes look like and how form goes and whatever. And the goalkeeper could just be the activator if all this pans out. So I think this last choice, I want to be mega safe. Definitely will play and can get a credible score. And I'm keep looking at Gvardiol because of the form he's in. It's unavoidable. But again, Jack Hendry could score against Moldova from a corner or something. It's a better game. Actually, let's just pick, Jack Hendry. And let's go Captain Jack. Let's go Captain Jack. That's the vibe. Captain Jack it is. And this is a new feature as well. This came up on my phone, I think, as well, which is interesting. But it tells you where you're pulling them from, so you can see, you know, like if you're registering for like another team and that kind of thing. It's just do you definitely want to do that? Do you definitely want to mess up the other team? Training I'll do off camera as always, guys. But I think that's actually a really good little punt of a team. And I know I've got some odd ends and stuff, which is why I've then just thrown him in here, just in the off chance, like if somebody get injured or COVID or something, maybe he gets his first cap. I think Gvardiol is probably, he's probably the best shout to come in here next then. And Tyler Adams, again, this is just I'm not expecting the goalkeeper's not going to play. Not backing Timothy Weah in any massive sense. And then, but I just have some guys that will play. And hey, you never know. You might get lucky. Yunus Musa, Tio Hernandez, Vlasic. I think if just in the vibe of this team, we play Vlasic, I think. And I think with Captain Adams, just because you know, the triple potential and all that, he could bang a 60 without decisive. Should play 90 minutes. Or get pretty damn close to it. Lovely. Or, with some of the spare super rares I've got, that maybe make this punt in D3. So let's see, what supers have I maybe got lying about that are playing? None. Okay, that's fine. So who'd the best defender be? It would probably be, yeah, probably would be Guardiola. That's fine. In the midfield, I'm looking at Adams and Vlasic. Let's check the no game. I think I want Renato Sanchez in here. Yeah. See, he comes up now. Home to Serbia. I think you play Renato at home, don't you? And then if I'm getting the Mecca in here, yeah, fantastic. It's a punty team, but it's got a puncher's chance. Now, Vlasic come off the bench. Let me check the Croatia team from tonight because, again, they were playing Malta. Yeah, so maybe this is the second string that have went out. Yeah, some guy called Mayer started, 23-year-old at Rennes. National team. It's only his second senior cap. Kaleta Kar, Juranovic, Sosa, Gerbic. Suppose that's quite a good team. Is it the best team? Let me look at the bench. Sucic. No Vlasic. Yeah, I think Vlasic maybe comes in for one of them against Russia. I think Vlasic is the show because he's got decisives in him. And on that basis, I think I'm going to captain Guardiola because it's just the form he's in, just imperious. Yeah, that's a good punt for a D3, isn't it? Under 23s, why not? And then let's just check in unlimited. I think I can get one team out. I think I've got one. I think I've got Safanov in goals. Yeah, Rasmus Christensen. Sucic is on the bench today. I don't expect him to start against Russia. So do I have anyone else? Zobnin, I don't think starts for Russia, does he? Didn't play tonight, certainly. Didn't get any notifications. Yeah, I think my best bet is that Sucic comes off the bench, or Roldan maybe comes off the bench. He's in the team, isn't he? I think I'll go for Roldan off the bench. And then Dzeko up front, and then I think I did Duvikas up front as my last pick the first time around. But maybe I go Sesko, yeah. I think I'll pick Sesko. Oh, that makes me want to buy a midfielder for this team. I don't even think Christensen starts for Denmark anyway, so I think that's a bit in vain. Yeah, I'm not going to go buy him, guys. I don't do that. I don't like it. Yeah, I think that's the team I run with. And we will captain Dzeko at home to Finland. Let's see what happens. You never know. When you can get 70 quid for a rare team, but need 400 points to even get a card worth that much. Don't even need a good rare team to get 250 points as well. I'm kind of lost, guys. You guys are having a great big... I like Robinson for 43 now. You guys are having a big, great chat. Sorry, guys. I've missed the live chat tonight. Apologies. I've just wanted to rattle through these little basic teams that I'll be running out. See, I'll do my training and stuff off camera. You don't need to worry about that. So I picked up a card today, guys. Now, I couldn't believe it. I was actually just kind of prepping for the stream, and I thought I'll just see what the goalkeeper situation is for Argentinos, because as I've been talking about on streams and whatnot and in content, like, I am looking for an increased South American footprint, and I just thought it's a good chance. Argentinos, I had a wee look at them. They're not doing too great now, but I thought there's a good chance to maybe get somebody a wee bit overlooked, because I know when these teams have come on before, those opportunities have arisen. Now, it appears to me, from the limited information that's available to me at my fingertips in a half-an-hour cycle, the goalkeeper for Argentinos broke his ankle in September. Chavez, his name is. I think he's at 26, 24, something like that. Looks to be the number one goalkeeper, easily. But he's broke his ankle, and this guy's been playing ever since. And this guy is going cheaper than the guy with the broken ankle. And I just thought, hey, even if it's for one season or whatever, this guy can replace Kim Sung-gyu in Global D4. And maybe I'll win some more South American cards. And then eventually, when the MLS switches off, you know, a goalkeeper is going to be the hardest piece always. So to get that for 0.127, which in fiat terms now is definitely no small figure. But ETH-wise, of course, it's quite generous or quite attractive to me. I've went for it. You'd have seen at the beginning of the stream as well. I was looking at Kevin McAllister. So you might know Kevin from such movies as Home Alone and Home Alone 2. but he's actually an Argentinian defender, Argentinos Junior, and I just love the guy's name more than anything. He's 24, but he's still U23 eligible, so he's one of those kind of funny ones, of course, just with the birthdays and how it goes. And he's pretty cheap. And I'm thinking if I can get him and the goalkeeper for combined 0.2, I think that's a bargain. But then I think I would only really need this guy to play Champion America, D3 or D4. And then I'm waiting for other cards to come in to then facilitate them. So I'm not really in a rush to go and get in a pair. I'd maybe rather buy the broken ankle goalkeeper. But again, I'm in no massive rush to do that because, as I say, he's auctioning for more than the lad I've just picked up. Somebody's trying to sell him for half a coin. You know, he's got a broken ankle. Yeah, so a wee bit more, and that'll come down. So I'm hoping maybe I get both of them, and then I've got 2 goalkeepers under 30. They've got first team experience. Maybe one of them moves, one of them stays. Maybe they both stay, and I've got both options forever. I can deal with that for 0.2, no problem whatsoever. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just go get that goalkeeper at some point once his price comes down. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And see, otherwise, guys, I think we are just waiting for the last kind of results to trickle in. And Global All-Star, sitting 54 for still in that tier 3 pool. Sorare didn't get on the pitch. And yeah, we've not got much comfort. 90%. If anyone behind us gets that 10%, hopefully it's just people that are ahead of me that all have games left to play, and it's nobody behind me because I'm right on the bubble for a card. That's a bit sore. That DNP is a killer, man. But then I look at this team, and the only perks, I was thinking this earlier when I seen Sorare wasn't starting. Let's say I did take Sorare out, who would I have realistically replaced him with? It would have been one of these. It might have been Kyogo, right? Might have been an extra 28 points. I would feel a bit more comfortable with that, right? But there's a very good chance I would have picked Kamada or Maeda, just as likely. So I can't get too frustrated at myself about that. Maybe the goalkeepers have made a different choice and got an extra. What's the end in the end? Like an extra 19 points. So a wee bit shoulda, woulda, couldas to make this a bit more comfortable, the last 10%, but it is what it is. All I wanted to eat, we've done that at Cantor, no problem whatsoever. I can be quite content with myself. Now, guys, I'm going to sit back for a second, and if there's anything you want to throw at me or whatever in the live chat, now is the time to do it. Shrew, thanks for joining us. Fist bump to you. I've probably missed a few, guys. I'm really sorry. The live chat seemed to be very popular tonight, very busy, and I've just kind of lost track of it. I've put in the mecha in my game week as I think he'll start the next game, especially after tonight's win. Yeah, maybe he does. Fingers crossed for that as well for me. He's supposed to get his 100th cap against Estonia, so should be good. Who's that? Demi Gamer? Is that Neuer maybe? Who's playing Estonia again? Oh, is it Mertens? Fucking brilliant, by the way. That makes me happy. It's not going to be Denier. Yeah, it must be Mertens you're talking about, Demi Gamer. That's a great detail. Thank you very much for sharing that. That gets me excited. Has a nice academy, home of Maradona. Scottish ancestry, yeah. There's another McAllister that played in the World Cup in '94 or something, and also Alexis McAllister is at Brighton at the moment. So it's interesting, you know. But I seen the name straight away, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I see maybe I get that just to go with the goalkeeper and give me some sort of base. Then I don't really want to go and buy a team, but then I think I've got a really good cheap base there of a defender and a midfielder. Maybe I go and get like an Almendra or a De La Cruz, or I go and get Julian Alvarez. I go get some of these more exciting forward-based players, and I just roll with that. But I don't want to spend ETH on that. I'm kind of trying to win some of those guys. So I think just the goalkeeper now will probably do me. Joshy Fourth, evening Quinny, a bit late. I was expecting a 10 PM stream. Hope you're good. Sorry, buddy. Not much to be going through, to be honest, in this game week. You've not missed too much. Just been some light international banter and chat, but not much going on, buddy. What do you think of Pozuelo's price? Think he could pick up bigger scores next year? Let me have a wee check. Pozuelo. Now I don't think the manager situation at Toronto is overly clear. Wow. ETH-wise, like, Jesus, that does look appealing based on historic ETH pricing, but historically the price of ETH is not the same as what it is today. So, you know, there's a middle ground in pricing no one can really quantify to be found there, but that does look pretty good. His age will be playing against him as well as his history, and this, yeah, because again, anyone joining the platform now, won't see this. They won't be clicking on that all button and seeing, and really appreciating it and valuing it. You'll be looking at the last season and going, barely played. Yeah, he's hit some big ones when he did play, but team was crap. He's in and out. And that's not somebody a lot of people will want to pick up the now to sit on until the 28th of February, whenever it is when MLS is back. It could be a great one, by the way. And when MLS went off last time, I had the thought of, why don't I just go and buy? And I already had some of these guys, of course, but just to give you the kind of thought, like Pozuelo, Vela, Joseph, just go get all the DPs, go get all the big guys as cheap as you can get them, and then just wait for MLS to come back around and do with them as you want. And that strategy would have paid off this year. Will it pay off next year? If you can predict the future, you be a rich man. Oh, Bob Bradley is in. I knew, Mikey, so glad you're here to catch me. I knew there was a reason that came right to the front of my mind as soon as Toronto came out of my mouth. Bob Bradley is in charge, so actually, yeah, it could. Ooh, yes. Could be a bit of a rejuvenated TFC next year then. You expect him to spend money. Does Altidore stay? Raises a lot of questions. I think Pozuelo is the centrepiece. If they can, as long as he's under contract, and the rumours have been like Javinko comes back, or maybe they go and get Insigne, which I don't think happens, but that's the rumours. If you could buy one forward for the America region for next season, who would it be? I'm guessing you're meaning MLS wise. If I was to pick one MLS forward for next season, it would probably be. We've a bias, right? But I think the Galaxy are on 8, or maybe Joseph actually. Not Joseph. What does Joseph go for now? Atlanta are just in the ascendancy. They had such a shitstorm over the last 2 seasons in so many levels and ways, and I like the price of Joseph, man. I really do. He can get you a goal. He can get you 2 decisives a game, like 2/3 of the time. That is feasible for this guy in a fully firing Atlanta that is about to sign Almada as well. Imagine this guy getting fed off a Marcelino Moreno, Barco, Almada, Araujo as well. All of these guys. I think Atlanta could be Bayern Munich level. Like, I really do. I am biased. I have, a good amount of Atlanta cards. I think they're definitely worth heavy consideration. In terms of left field guys, there's nobody that really springs to my mind. Maybe anyone associated with Columbus, really, because they've had quite famously from the guys that I listen to anyway, say that the Columbus manager kind of goes in hot streaks, so like he has a good season, bad season, the manager does, across his career. So expecting Columbus to rebound, I think, is a good bet. Actually, I think Brenner is a great shout for next year. I think the new director they've brought in. So Cincinnati have brought in the new their new director of football or whatever is the guy behind a lot, not all, but a significant portion of the Philadelphia kind of recent success with the Supporter Shield win last year, etc. And he's already come out and said that he ideally wants a manager that will play a diamond. Now, why is that good for Brenner? If that means if you're playing in a diamond, you're going to have a 2-man front partnership, which means your DP, 21-year-old Brazilian, is going to have a strike partner and 2 or 3 midfield runners to play and combine with. And if you look at Philadelphia's scores when they won the Supporter Shield, guys like Sergio Santos and Kasper Schmeichel, their scores were mental crazy good. So if they can get any sort of replication, even in that system, they don't need to win the league. They don't need to win the Supporter Shield for this guy to kick ass in SO5. And with just how low the expectation level is at the moment at Cincinnati, they're still to get a manager. But that could be a good one. He's cheap, he's young, he's Brazilian, comes with a lot of hype and promise. And sometimes those guys, when their first move doesn't work out, the second move does. Because these guys are scouted, and some people will just look at it and go, listen, they're on the worst team in the league. This is Brenner. They paid like 12 million for him. Maybe he goes to like Italy, bottom end team or something like that eventually. So I think you've got a wee bit more of a safety net versus somebody like a Joseph, a Vela, a Chicharito, a bit more of a veteran striker who all 3 of those guys have got injury records, again, very much worth consideration. Whereas, I think there's just a bit more upside on the younger guys. So that's probably who I would pick, Josh. Jesus loves the scoring matrix. Oh, Jesus. You offloaded your Vela to Pavel yet? Me? No. I'm keeping my Vela. I've got no reason to shift him. Why don't you use pound instead of ETH? That accounts for the increase in the price of Sorry, Connor, I'm going to read that again. Why don't you use pound instead of ETH? That accounts for the increase in price of ETH. Because, again, like, it's quite a hard thing to put into words. Like, so, even though ETH goes up, like some of the guys that are at the top end and some like things like are staples on the market, like a goalkeeper, for example, ETH pricing is funny, right? Because see the price of ETH, right, and Bitcoin and all these things, it's all measured in dollars, right? So because the primary price of these things is measured in dollars and I'm operating in pounds as well, there is just a really messy kind of trifecta. I actually spoke about 14 months ago. There was a weird opportunity that arisen. It was something to do with Trump and COVID. I can't remember exactly the details of it, right? But like I had, I forget how much it was, right? But I had like some ETH, and what had happened was like the price of the dollar against the pound had moved in a weird way, and alongside that, I think ETH went up, really crazy. But the amount my um, ETH was worth in dollars significantly changed in a really short period of time, and at that point in time, a huge percentage of the platform operated in dollars. So me with my pounds had a bit more. So it's the reason ETH is always kind of mainly used is because it is like the universal currency. Because what you need to remember as well is there's people playing this in about 5 different primary currencies. You know, you've definitely got Japanese people playing this, and you know they operate in yen. I want to say, you guys on euros, you get people on pounds, you get people on dollars. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else that has another currency. You guys at home will probably know one. You're probably, you know, whatever they use in Argentina and Brazil, it's probably dollars there as well. In fact, so ETH is like the universal sort of currency for, you know, that's a kind of crypto thing, I suppose, as well. That's a kind of benefit of crypto. It's not like a local currency. It's a kind of anyway. So it's a bit of a hard question to answer. There's a kind of there's a middle ground in between it. It definitely feels like the pricing of the marketplace is much more, of course, pinned into fiat because that's the world we all operate in. We all work and earn fiat. So subsequently, the money you're going to dispose is going to be fiat. But for example, like with my club, you know, if I win a card and sell it, I get ETH for that. So again, like the currency the club runs on for me is ETH because that's the way that kind of works. Whereas if you're buying ETH with pounds rather than cards, for example, then that's so. I've got a spreadsheet thing. I do it every 3 months. It's probably the best way of seeing because I just work everything on net in and out my bank account. That's how I work everything. So, catch the last one. There's a playlist for it, and the next one will be next month in December. So watch out for that. It's probably the best way to kind of explain why that is the case for me personally. And I've kind of lost where the questions are. I'm really sorry. So Almada confirmed today as well. Wow, I must have missed that. um, I am buying him right now. Then Mark Hodgson, who are we talking about? Seen his work on Soccer AM. Um, thoughts on Techie as a midfielder for Threshold team? Looks solid. Let me check who Techie is, and I'll let you know. For Fortuna Sittard, Techie has absolutely no all-round the way his team has been playing, but solid player will get 40-yard assist. Jesus Ferreira was my shout for MLS player. I got you. Anyone else back in Canada this week? Toby Hope. No, not me. They're a worthwhile team picking, I suppose. How cheap is he? Nah, I've been nah, not for me. Well, he's 20. I think there's better options. I think there's better options for that budget. Is my honest answer to that, Oscar. Um, did you see Vela's story that he said he wants to go to Australia for the family? Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just run with that. Thanks for the insight. No problem, man. Yes, Toby. Koskino. Hello, man. Thoughts on investing into Wilson Manafa? Rare or super rare DNP now? If he's a DNP, I hope you're asking this question already knowing why he's a DNP and you're not asking me to. Let's get a mad inflection on over his name, isn't he? So I'm just going to put Wilson. Yeah. Porto. You need to know why he's a DNP. If you know why he's a DNP and you reckon he's going to come back, cool. If you fancy he's going to transfer, cool. As I said, both. Yeah, if you have suspicions of either one of those things, then yeah, these are attractive ETH prices for sure. But I don't know anything on them. I'm sorry. When you sell your players, do you price them in ETH or pounds? Definitely ETH. So I go on the market and I look at what they're selling for on Sorare data. I look at the ETH prices because again, like, you know, like if you look at it in pounds and dollars, ETH for me is just, yeah, that's what I look at it as for sure. No two ways about it. Barriers to entry now for regular folk 1 to 2k budget are unreal and kind of makes me turn away from Sorare, especially since people like Pavel Trader are here. Do you think anything will change anytime? Great content, by the way. Keep it going. How do you mean it's unreal in terms of the barriers? Like, as I would need clarification on what you mean by that, Twan. Or Tuan. And I don't know what you mean about Pavel, because as far as I know, Pavel's been relatively like ineffective in the market recently. I don't think many people really do trades with him as much anymore. But I think, you know, I said it in the podcast with Chrissy that went out earlier today, but I think if I was approaching this brand new and I had the budget that I started off with, like, I would just be looking to get small little edges. I'd be looking for things that nobody else sees, and it's really like maybe some things are maybe a bit, oh wow, look at the Maradona Unlimited. That, wow, I thought the rare looked good, but wow, that limited rookie legend, that looks something else, man, doesn't it? That does look cool, man. He's not the biggest Maradona guy. I never really, you know, I never grew up with him. You know, I know everyone, oh, Maradona, Pele, but I'm all about the guys I've seen play. You know, that's, you know, I can appreciate the legends and all the rest of it, don't get me wrong, but I didn't grow up watching this guy. He didn't win the World Cup from my country. He never played for my club. So it is just like, it's a respect thing you pay these guys, you know, that it's just like, he's Maradona. You've seen all the highlights, you've heard all the accolades and all that kind of stuff, you know. But no matter who you are, if you didn't grow up with these people, you're not going back and watching their full career, every match they played and all that kind of crap, you know. So I find it really hard to you know, for guys like that. It's not my country, it's not my club, you know, it's Maradona, you know, for me. But it looks really cool. And there's my guy again, going off in 11 minutes, 3 bids. That's all. It's unlimited. I was thinking that was a rare. I was thinking, man, that's mental. I don't know if I don't know the price of limited. I don't know if that's good or not. I'm not going to research it. I've just seen his name there. Well, to get a competitive rare team, you would have to spend a couple of thousand, if not more. If this is supposed to become a game for millions, it's just too much to start with. Yeah, well, if you want to start at rares, then definitely. But again, like, what is kind of... So at the moment, let's check out the graphs, right? So at the moment, let's say... Well, we don't need to see anything. We'll go get the graphs up, right? Where do we find charts again? Is it market? Yeah. Right, okay. Owner, this is everyone's favourite chart in the world, right? Let's wait for this to load up. Not sure why whales are on... Why yeah, are not put, to be honest. I love taking down a... Yeah, same. I'm kind of like that. I suppose it depends how you started, like... Yeah, but you'll probably be seen as a whale to the common player. Yeah, I suppose. Probably that. You got super rares, that's well. You know, I remember like when I got my first super rare, I was like, man, I'm probably, you know, when I got the Trippier, I was like, man, I'm probably only ever going to be able to afford to own like 3 of these things. So it was a really good. Right, finally we've got this little graph loaded. Right, it took us wee time. Right, okay, so the numbers I look at as significant or meaningful, right, is between the 5 and 10 card. Right, the reason for that is anyone who signs up who is like opening their account expecting to play this game buys 5 cards to get their free one, right? And then also, once you've got your free one, you've then got 6 cards. So to get to 10, you're only actually buying 4 more cards. So those are the 2 numbers that means, you know, so 5, you just get the 5. Maybe you just sit with 6 cards, maybe 7. But the people that go on and get 10, they're then, I think, actively playing. They're trying to get some depth. They're trying to get some market pieces they can trade and maybe buy a DNP that's going to turn around, that kind of thing. So they have not brought out limited cards for between 20,000 and 30,000 people to play with. Let me just zoom in on this so you can see it a bit better. So at this moment in time, the amount of people that have 5 or more cards is 35,000, and the amount of people that have 10 cards or more is 20,000. Okay, so the introduction of the limited scarcity isn't for a user base that size. A user base 10 times that size is much more appropriate for a scarcity that's 10 times bigger than what we've ever had on the platform. So this is a future-proof kind of measure. Now, so if you want to come in and out and buy rares when the game now has been designed so that limiteds is the entry point, then you are skipping a level. Now, everyone wants to get to rares quite quickly, of course, at this moment in time, because there's the ETH payout and the threshold, and that's fine. But kind of now the situation is to get onto rare, like you need, whatever a rare goes for is what a rare goes for. The auction velocity is a lot lower now, unfortunately. And it is one of those ones that you really do need to bide your time and be patient. But unfortunately, if you do not want to be patient, you will have to spend like a little bit more money. So, for example, getting a rare team that can score 250 points, you need to rely first of all, if you're going to do this cheaply, on a common goalkeeper, right? We all know that. But otherwise, like, you are looking to be picking up bargains here and there, and it's got to be realistic expectations. You know, and again, I said this on the video that I dropped last week or something about how well we'd done in October. Is like all of this stuff that's going on now in my account. And again, all the people, if you've been watching my content for the last year, you know this, right? Anyone who I talk to directly, you'll know this, of course. But I've been planting all these seeds this time last year. I'm going to get all this stuff, so then if the platform takes off, I've got good cards. I've picked them up as cheap as I could. I extended myself, you know, to take advantage of a situation I seen developing in front of me. And again, I was talking about the deja vu I get with limiteds. I think there's other opportunities out there, no two ways about it, if the growth of the platform continues as you would expect it to. And that's just because this is a product that's designed for a bigger product. So the limiteds kind of live and die on the sword of the user base growing or not. The limiteds, pardon me, the rares and the super rares, not as much, because the existing user base and the kind of immediately incoming user base are familiar and accepting of the structure and the principles around rares and super rares and all that kind of thing. So coming in and buying rares is always going to be expensive, but again, like it isn't hard to find a bargain if you're motivated enough and you really dig around and you're happy to open your horizons. I talk to hundreds of people that give me great suggestions for players to talk about on videos and all kind of stuff, like, oh, I got this guy for 0.02, I got this guy for 0.04, you know, different things like that. And there's tons of them, you know, there is tons of them. You just need to go looking for them. But that being said, it's still not cheap, of course, but it, you know, it's not good. If you want to do it in 2 days, you're going to need to spend money. But if you want to do it over 90 days, you can spend much less, is my point. But you'll have a sense of urgency because you're expecting the ETH threshold to change or move or get pinned to fiat soon. And in which case, if you're against the clock, sometimes, you know, if you're against the clock, you know, that comes with a premium, you know. So anything, if you want express delivery, you pay for it. You know, it's that kind of same principle. If you're not looking enough to look up, yeah, now of course, rare goalkeeper is a different situation. Accept that completely. In terms of Pavel Trader, he holds almost 3% of the total supply, so he's one of the biggest whales. How are newbies supposed to compete with that? Well, Pavel doesn't really do well in SO5, and that 3% he's got is probably 99% part of the bottom 10% of the platform in terms of the quality and the caliber of the card that he holds. So I wouldn't be looking at Pavel with complete envy, you know. Yeah, Jonathan, I see lots of accounts that win way more than I do. You know, I think I do pretty well, but there's people that rinse it and they just have put in more time and money than even me, you know, which is crazy to think. But it's one of the two or both, you know, so people get better results. It's as simple as that. Been looking for a threshold team around 1K. So for me, then now, what's that, about 0.3 of an Ethereum, something like that. And just can't seem to find any players that are reasonably priced. Seems like a bad time to enter. Happy to take advice of players. I kind of feel even if I got in the door a couple of months ago, I could have snapped up a decent rare keeper. Yeah. But again, guys, ETH moves. Like, ETH's at 3.5 grand now, right? Pounds. I can promise you it will move back. You know, it's so weird, right? Especially if you've not been here long, right? I've not been involved in crypto that long. And see when ETH rallied in like March or whatever it was, all the crypto people like that, none of you fuckers have got any idea what it's like, it will go backwards. They all said it to me at the time. It's like, don't get too excited because, you know, it can't go up forever. That's a fact of life. And with ETH and crypto, it does feel like that. When it is going up, it does feel like it's going up forever, but it doesn't, you know. It's about picking your moment, finding opportunities where you can. Or for late games, even limiteds are way overpriced. It depends, man. Andy Black, good to see my man. Fist bump to you. Andy, brilliant. Fans in the house as well, brilliant. I think if they want to adapt this game widely, they should have gone with 10,000 limiteds. No, I don't think. That's a step two, and it can happen next if they go even bigger. You know, I think they've been very cautious and very deliberate. If you don't, you know, fact of life again, like if you don't have the money to go and buy some of these things, like they do have the casual league open constantly, and you can win cards every week on that and build that up as much as you can. So I'd be exercising all avenues. Like again, there was people that won like a unique, I don't think any super rares got one, but a bunch of good rares out of the one-shot league. People win cards out of Sorare Data. People win cards out of Sorare Mega. People win cards out of Sorare Brag. All the side party third angle games. If you don't have that much of a budget, there is plenty of angles for you to try and exploit and get an edge in. And I would be, if I am on a smaller budget, I would be exhausting everything. There's no excuse for like the size of like your wallet. Like my wallet started off tiny, guys. Like if you go, there's video evidence. I'll say this very clearly, right? There is video evidence and blockchain evidence of every transaction I have ever done. The video evidence is all on the YouTube channel. You can go all the way back to the very first video I made on Sorare. You'll see me buying those cards, and I've not watched them since they came out, right? But I can tell you my thoughts back then, and I remember saying it. I took a week to kind of figure it out, and I was a wee bit tentative. I don't really know what's going on here. And the money I was putting in at first, I'm just happy to, let's just put it in. All you could win was ETH, and at that time, ETH was worth nothing. It was worth like 150 quid, 200 quid, 300 quid. Only went ETH for number one. And the card payout, you were never going to get anywhere near a card. You know, it was just about, for me, I was about, oh, I'll try and get a guy I know better than these other people, and I'll try, one day I'll win, and that one day I'll win, that'll be my day. And that was the way it went. And obviously things have developed since then. There's plenty of content, you can go watch it all. But everyone starts somewhere. You know, you can't open an account day one and have 150 cards, you know, unless you're going to spend a ton of money. We're trying to keep up with Quinny. Doubt that very much. I enjoy limited cards. They are cheap enough to get involved and have some fun. Yeah, the price structure is huge. And I think limiteds only have more room for growth. Again, check out the Procast with me and Chrissy. I've heard John talk about this a lot on the So Far So Rare podcast as well. And I'm pretty sure the Andes have spoke about it as well. Like limited and limited pro. It's the writing's on the wall. It would have to happen at some point. There's just too many limiteds to not give them that obvious avenue for utility. And then what does that do for some rares as well? You know, so I hope we do. Okay, everyone's okay. I'm kind of losing questions now. You guys are all just kind of talking in between yourselves, guys. If there's any other questions, I'll be happy to bat them about. I feel like my main regret was creating my account 3 months ago and not touching it. Yeah, I think Haggis, I've heard everyone say that at some point. I'm quite fortunate that I kind of left it for like a week. Like I seen the, again, well, you guys have heard this story, so sorry, right? But I seen the Ronaldo unique go for 12k, and I messaged Hybe and I was like, "But who paid 12k for a card? Like, I don't get this. Explain it to me." Spoke to him on the phone for like an hour or two, and then I messed about with it privately myself for a week, and it was just a really weird thing to get my head around. But then as soon as I got my head around it, I was like, "Do you know what? This could be something," and I just had a wee shot and played around with it. But I'm quite fortunate that I had the spare time. If I didn't have spare time, I could have easily just shelved that and manana. So, you know, sometimes what's for you go, you know, what's for you comes your way, you know. And I'm happy I was able to put the time aside to investigate it and get stuck in. Happy with this goalkeeper as well. And yeah, there's no more questions, guys. Where will Maeda fit into the Celtic team? Maybe as a rotation for Tom Rogic is my main thinking. We've got a lot of competition in the wide areas. So we've got Jota, we've got Mikey Johnson, we've got Forrest, we've got Abada. But there's a bit of an injury record with Mikey Johnson and Forrest, so I don't know how much you want to rely on them. He can also play right wing, and I think when you look at the versatility of like Maeda and Kyogo and Japanese players, period, I think I think that's something that Ange will want to exploit out of having a few Japanese players, is their versatility, because in Europe and in the SPL, like, that is a huge weapon. Being able to, like, you know, play Maeda in 3, 4 different positions, and Kyogo, and I suppose you could play Jota left or right wing, same with Abada, and you know, having all these options, it can literally be any combination of that plays. Makes it very difficult for your opponent to prepare, and can be a very valuable asset to your team. My mate's put £500 in and now has a gallery worth about 6k by wheeling and dealing. Wow, that's impressive, Gaza. Time, you know, time and effort. That's what that man's done. Round of applause to him. I would comment, but since our chat, I've been preoccupied spending days researching Champ Euro Limiteds. Well, I think it's an angle to definitely look at and see if there's anything you can make. You know, I think there's just some guys, like I said about Lautaro Martinez, because I own him and I'm kind of close to that. But there's plenty more guys out there that are probably even more attractive pricing wise in the limited market, in the Champion Euro region in particular. So again, the thing behind that is if you believe there'll be a limited pro. So the reason I brought up the graph, right? Sorry guys, this is a wee bit scattergun, right? But the reason I brought up the graph, right, is at the moment, let's say between 5 cards and 10 cards, right? We're looking at 13,000, 6.5. So let's say 28,000 people are engaged players that are playing this every week, buying cards, trying to build a team, whatever. As soon as we go to, let's say, 100,000 users rather than 28, that population has went from being 100% of the customer base or the user base or whatever to being a quarter of that, basically. As it then goes to 200,000, it then becomes 12%. So as things move on, a lot of the problems you're experiencing or you're finding, you're going to see as time moves on and this grows the way we all expect it to. You're gonna see yourself in like 8 months, people saying that in comment sections on my videos and on Twitter threads and whatever, and you're gonna be there, man, thinking, Jesus, I remember I was saying that 6 months ago. You know, it's one of these things. As long as you believe in the platform's growth, which I do, of course, I'm very clear about that. Hours of looking not much closer to a decision. Rens might be a look. Yeah, no rush, man. You know, no rush at all. Because ETH is so high now, you know, the market is definitely. You know, the market always gets a bit tentative, I find, in terms of the auctions and the secondary market when ETH's doing a lot of movement. Because if you get ETH loaded in your wallet, you're not taking money out your pocket to make a transaction. If you've got ETH sitting, then the value of that is kind of ever changing, and you're wanting to make sure you get the best kind of bang for buck. Whether you just cash the ETH in, whether you buy a card, you do both, whatever. So when ETH's on the up like now, I think there's plenty of opportunities and plenty of, you know, within reason, until ETH does some sort of correction or movement or whatever, there can be plenty of time on some things. So all the research and background you can get until you get that little feeling that you know you've found a winner, you've found a card, like, yes, he's the guy for me. Kellaway, my goalkeeper, I thought 0.127 and he should be a starter. Look at my Barnet, guys. I really need a haircut and a razor. My missus is starting to make fun of me big time now. I think that's all I might have time enough, guys. The CR7 unique is probably one thing. So I made a wee note of like 3 things I wanted to say. The CR7 unique, I cannot believe it went for 65 ETH. It was a bit of a discussion point as well, because the fiat amount, of course, is significantly higher, but the ETH amount is significantly lower. So that's a very interesting kind of dynamic to see that. Alongside it being listed as, oh, it's been valued at between 800k and 1 million. Obviously going off at ETH pricing. And Bonhams, whoever they've auctioned it off with, of course, from the proof in the pudding, their customer base don't price in ETH, they price in pounds. So that's why the increase is kicked off there. So it kind of depends on where your marketplace is as well, I suppose. The MLS free agent list is out on Twitter, so you can see some guys that may be moving or maybe staying at clubs. And Cherky's goal, by the way, it feels like that's Cherky arriving, because like I remember when Odsonne Edouard was at Celtic and he was banging in goals for France under 21s and all the rest of it. Cherky was, you know, his name's been floated about. He's been in France youth teams for the last season or two. But it feels like now that's him. He's getting into the France now, you know, under 21 setup, and it feels like he's happening. Cherky's happening, you know. He's coming through, he's breaking through. So really excited about that goal. It was an absolute belter. And I've seen a quote as well that came along with it that was like from a journalist or something. It was like, oh, what foot would you say to Cherky? What would you say your strongest foot is? And he says left. And then the guy asked him, so why do you take free kicks with your right foot? And he's like, oh, I shoot better with my right foot. Guy is tippy top. Fingers crossed it pays off. It looks great so far. Mad value can be found in cards just going on break. Yep. Totally. Some people don't have the patience for that, unfortunately, and that's reasonable to understand, because if you open a game, you want to play it, you don't want to be buying cards that are dormant for 3 months, 2 months, I can get that. But yeah, you're definitely right. There's space for that in everyone's club. I think we'll develop an app, so where unlimited prices could be like rare card price. Yeah, maybe. App's a key milestone for sure. Yeah, and some people panic sell on ETH movement as well. You're dead right. Guys, I'll give it another minute. Any more questions, throw them out. If not, I'm going to wrap up. I look tired, don't I? But good stream. Good bit of banter. Good bit of senseless gibbering as well. Let's look at Home Alone again. I really don't need another defender, but his name's Kevin McAllister. How can you not be interested in Kevin McAllister? But yeah, I don't need another defender. Like, I just do not need a defender. It's called Kevin McAllister. And it's a nice picture as well. Do you know what I think? I think it's a nice looking card. Like, I think he looks like a good player. He looks like somebody who would be proud to represent FC Barcelona. Hey, Maya's right, guys. If you're here watching this live, please do smash the like button. It goes a long way to helping the channel, and thank you very much if you do that. Hey, guys, I've given it another minute. Yeah, let's have an early night. Smash the like button, guys. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff. There'll be more content coming your way. And I will catch you if I win a card. We're going to be walking out with a card. Let's see how it sits at the moment after we're on this. I think we're still sitting on a card. I don't think any more games have kicked off or whatever, but yeah, we're still hanging on. What percentage are we at now? Still 90. Nothing's changed. Yeah, he was a great guy. Home Alone's my favourite movie too, Black. Have a good one, guys. Take care.